Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're watching in an audio format. My name is Justyna. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about the full moon happening on August the 9th at 16 degrees of Aquarius. So here, first of all, if your birthday falls on the 9th of August, it could be 8th, 9th, or 10th, then this coming year is really significant because you'll be ending a certain chapter in your life. That's what happens during a full moon at a time of culmination, endings, a point of release. So some shifts are coming up for you in the upcoming year. If you have any placements at around 16 degrees of Aquarius, but also have a look at the remaining fixed signs, and that will be Leo and Taurus and Scorpio, then you will be under a greater influence of this full moon, give or take 3 degrees. Now, a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in the opposing signs, and this is when the moon is fully illuminated in the sky. Our emotions are heightened, and so are our feelings. So, a really intense energy usually occurs around the full moon. Now, every full moon is a continuation of a story that started during the new moon. And here, if we look at it from the gestation lunar cycle, which lasts 2 years and 7 months, we would have looked at the new moon that took place around 18 months prior to this particular full moon. So I'm thinking now, and that would be around February 2024. So if you can think and carefully what happened, what you started in your life around that time in the area of life where Aquarius is present in your chart, then you will have a more clarity in terms of what you can possibly expect to happen around this time. All right, this is a really interesting full moon. Mercury is still retrograde in Leo. It's almost ending its retrograde phase 2 days after this full moon is exact. But at the time of this full moon, it is still a retrograde. Now, the full moon, apart from, of course, connecting with the sun by an opposition, it doesn't make any major tight aspects with any other planet. So it's unexpected. We also have a grand kite, which is really interesting. So a few interesting points which we will explore in a moment. And actually, I will share my screen with you this time around because there's quite a bit of interesting things happening at the time of this full moon. So I would like you to see it with your own eyes, and then we will move into the forecast for each rising sign. All right, so let's have a look at the chart, the event chart. So as you can see, we've got a full moon here, and that's on August the 9th, of course. So first of all, let's explore the energies of Aquarius. Of course, it's an earth sign, it's a fixed sign, so fixed lunations create lasting energies, lasting situations. Of course, Mercury is still retrograde. This isn't a good time for making any drastic major decisions, at least without thinking them through. Now, here, Aquarius is connected to energy that is original, unique, unconventional, perhaps at times eccentric as well, since Uranus is its modern ruler and Saturn is a traditional ruler. Interestingly, both rulers, the modern and the traditional, are generally are a part of the grand kite at the time of this full moon. So generally with this future-oriented energy of Aquarius, an energy also connected to justice, unity, and the collective, of course, as well. What we could see happening around this time, generally here, whenever Uranus and Aquarius is in play, there is this really strong and deep desire to break free from what isn't working, from what outlived and fulfilled its purpose. So this could be breaking free emotionally, of course, with the full moon. It's very much about our emotions, which are intensified, and so is our intuition. But also anything to do with social justice, anything to do with community, group dynamics as well, and generally a liberation on a massive scale of any outdated systems, reforms, regulations as well. So, generally, here, since Aquarius is an earth sign, here the intellectual energy is very much highlighted, emphasized as well. So, many of us might also experience this strong need to intellectually detach from any intense emotional situations and loops overall. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, the moon, the full moon, is unaspected. So apart from its opposition to the sun, it doesn't connects to other planets by any major aspect. So this is a rather rare occurrence and a very intense one as well, because an unaspected planet is like a planet or a luminary in this case scenario. Generally it's like a wild card, emotionally disconnected, wandering aimlessly, we would say in horary astrology. So the way this could manifest for us, it could create a feeling of feeling emotionally detached, out of place, perhaps even disconnected from your life, from your path, from your relationship. So this will highly depend on your circumstances, on each and every person's circumstances. But there is this vibe of feeling detached, out of place, like something isn't resonating. And with the moon being unexpected and also intensified, of course, by the energy of the full moon energy vibe overall, here there's a tendency to act impulsively or erratically, even, especially when it comes to reclaiming your space, reclaiming freedom, for example. So we might see this actually being very much the case in many countries across the globe with the current political, economic climate. So let's have a look at the Grand Kite, which is essentially a modified Grand Trine. So first of all, we've got Saturn and Mars opposition, which already create a lot of tension and complex energy in the air. And this opposition is fueled by the energies of other planets. So both Saturn and Mars connect to Pluto and Gemini by either by Pluto, sorry, Pluto and Uranus by either a sextile or a trine. So Saturn connects with Pluto and Uranus by a sextile, while Mars connects to both Pluto and Uranus by a trine. So essentially, Mars, Pluto, and Uranus form a grand Earth trine, and then Pluto and Uranus connect to Saturn by a sextile. So what does it actually mean? Because it sounds quite complicated. So if we look at Mars, Mars in Libra. So our drive here, Mars is what indicates what motivates us, what excites us, but also what we are driven about. So here, our drive for freedom, our drive for justice, our drive for harmony meets very serious energy of structure, self-discipline, and that's Saturn in Aries. We've got this opposition here. And then we've got Pluto and Uranus connecting with both Saturn and Mars by either sextile or trine. So here Pluto and Uranus add an element of transformation, liberation as well, especially around anything to do with our mind, our belief system, social movements, anything to do with communication, of course, as well. So here Saturn acts as the apex point or planet. And this suggests that all this emotional tension, which is created by an unexpected moon, and that mental intensity created by an earth trine that is formed by Mars, Pluto, and Uranus, these energies must be channeled into something intentional. So, what this indicates is that whatever action we take, whatever decisions we make, they will require some effort. They will require clarity and accountability. So it's not straightforward energies. There's a lot of complexity, a lot to take into consideration. This full moon shouldn't be taken lightly. And to top it up, of course, Mercury is still retrograde in Leo, and with Mercury triggering the energy of Leo, this energy can also make us question our ability to stand up for ourselves, our ability to express ourselves freely, confidently, authentically. So the way this could manifest, because of all the complexity created by the grand kite and the full moon being unexpected, this full moon could be a very significant time for those, for example, if you've been dealing with a very difficult, complex matter, and this full moon might make you realize that it's time to disconnect. Perhaps you might feel like you're done. You've tried everything. Perhaps, things didn't work out. You've tried your best, and it's okay. It's time to let go. So for many, this could be this strong realization that you've done your part. You've played your part, and you've done your best. And it's time to let go. It's time to detach. It's time to move forward into the next project, goal, idea, whatever it is you're dealing with. Now, since Aquarius is connected to mental energy, our mind, our intellect, it might be easier to detach emotionally from something that perhaps has been hanging around. The Aquarius energy can bring clarity, move you away from chaos, especially for those who have been unsure which direction they are heading, which path to choose. This is about being true to yourself. So thank you very much. Now let's have a look how this full moon will influence each rising sign. You can also watch for your moon sign or your sun sign if you wish, just to get a bigger picture, wider perspective upon your life. Thank you very much, and let's begin. Hello, Aries, and welcome to your full moon in Aquarius horoscope. So here, this full moon will activate your 11th house. So the 11th house deals with groups, your friendships, your social circle, your network, long-term goals, dreams, hopes for the future. A full moon is a time of culmination, a time of major breakthroughs. This is when you might gain clarity, especially when it comes to your sense of belonging, your social identity, your stand within a certain social circle. You might realize that you have outgrown certain group dynamics, and perhaps you no longer resonate with their values, for example. Now, at the same time, here for this full moon could also make you realize that perhaps you feel emotionally unseen in certain social situations or certain groups. This could be also about letting go, moving away, distancing yourself from people that perhaps don't resonate with you, people who perhaps you feel like they don't positively contribute into your well-being. So this full moon might bring situations, realizations. It could be like a wake-up call in terms of who do you want in your reality, who belongs in your reality, in your social circle. And of course, with Saturn now in Aries in your first house, Saturn wants you to stand up for yourself. Saturn wants you to take charge of your life. And of course, this is just a short lasting influence, but it's like a preview of what is coming up for you in 2026 and onwards. So overall, this full moon can bring some unexpected shifts in your network, in your social circle. Now, on a different level, this full moon could also make you question your future plans, future goals, where you see yourself in the next 10 to 20 years. And of course, you started these major cycles with Saturn and Neptune now in your first house, much more permanently from next year onwards. And next year, we'll start a brand new series of eclipses on Aries and Leo axis. So this full moon could be just like a preparation for what's coming next year, a wake-up call when it comes to the people that are in your life, your friendships. If someone doesn't resonate anymore, if you feel like you're not in alignment with certain individuals in your life, then this full moon could be a time when you might want to distance yourself, when you might want to reflect. And you might ask yourself whether you are a part of a community, a group that truly reflects your values, who you are becoming. So at the same time with this full moon, it's a great time for letting go, releasing any tendencies connected to people pleasing, always having to fit in. This is about being yourself, whether others accept it or not, because this is when you will see who your true friends are. So thank you very much. Now, Taurus, welcome. This full moon activates your 10th house, and the 10th house deals with your public life, with your public image, your life direction, your career, professional life path and development, your status, your purpose. So lots of different um, keywords for this area of life, but overall, this is the public area of your life. And it's a very important one, of course, because it defines your career path, your public life. And this could be a peak overall, a momentum, a breakthrough happening in your career. It could generally be connected to some successful development, especially if you've been working towards a major milestone, a major goal. And this could be a time when things are finally, moving forward or showing some interesting results very slowly and gradually. Of course, Mercury is still retrograde. Now, for those who feel like they've been stuck in a career that they don't enjoy, then this full moon could be a point of a burnout, a point when you finally realize that it's time to move on, that enough is enough, and it's time to perhaps change your professional direction. Choose one that reflects your values, that reflects who you are and who you want to be. Now, with Saturn activated, of course, being a part of the Grand Kite in your 12th house, this energy can also bring up some unspoken fears, limiting beliefs, anything that generally needs to be released. Outdated career ambitions, or perhaps the need for external validation, or anything to do with your idea what actually success means to you. So it's a great time for really taking it easy and slowly. And if you take some time to really think things through without jumping too quickly into conclusions, of course, Mercury is still retrograde, then you can really come up with some interesting thoughts, realizations regarding what kind of future do you want to build moving forward. Thank you very much. Now, Geminis, welcome. This full moon activates your 9th house. So this is the house of your beliefs, life philosophy, anything to do with travel, anything to do with legal matters, self-growth, self-development matters as well. Now, this full moon, of course, Mercury is still retrograde in Leo in the opposing house. But this full moon is great for self-growth, self-development related activities, workshops, and this full moon is also it could be a turning point, especially if you've been wanting to launch something important, a campaign, a business. You might want to wait a couple of days, but this could be a really major breaking point here, breakthrough, if you will. Those first 2 weeks, these first 2 weeks of August, when this full moon will be especially activated. Now, very often the ninth house is connected to publishing and launching, getting your work, getting your word out there into the wider audience. This is expansive energy. So if you want to take your idea, goal, business, adventure, venture whatever it is, to the next level. This is generally a time to do it. You don't have to do it on the day of the full moon, but perhaps from 11th of August and onwards. This is generally also when you'll be more aware of your life philosophy, your belief system, letting go of perhaps beliefs, life philosophies that were never really yours. This full moon could also see you traveling. This full moon could see you also completing a major phase in your studies. Remember, the ninth house deals with studies. At the same time, with the full moon being a time of letting go, releasing, this is a fantastic time for letting go of any limiting beliefs that hold you back from getting closer to your purpose, that are holding you back from spreading your wings, from feeling free, content, and fulfilled in your life. All right, so let's have a look at Cancers now. Cancers, this full moon will be in your eighth house. So the eighth house, of course, is a very intense area of the chart. And the moon in the eighth house is slightly vulnerable. It's influenced by the energy of Scorpio. The eighth house is traditionally associated with the energy of Scorpio. This is the house of depth, intimacy, shared and joined resources as well. So this full moon could bring some really intense energy and a lot of depth as well. But at the same time, perhaps this full moon could involve having to deal with sensitive or a complex matter, anything to do with something that was hidden, something that wasn't fully clear, fully visible, anything to do with shared and or joint finances, resources, your intimate life, anything to do with any deep experiences that you went through in the past. So, here, what this full moon offers you is an opportunity to let go, especially of overly relying on other people, on other people's finances, resources, emotional support. And at the same time, if you feel like you've been stuck in any financial entanglements, contracts, or anything to do with some relational commitments, for example, if you feel like these have been draining you, then this is also an opportunity to let go, to remove yourself from these kind of dynamics. Now, a full moon in the eighth house, of course, could also bring a matter connected to your debts, mortgage, insurance to light. And if this is the case, then this is an ideal time for resolution. All right, so thank you so much. And now, Leos, welcome. This full moon activates your seventh house. The seventh house deals with relationships, with boundaries, with contracts, with other people, partnerships as well. So this generally full moon, and it brings to light a situation connected to your partnerships, relationships, romantic or business. This will depend on your circumstances. But this full moon could also make you more aware of any people pleasing tendencies, or perhaps where you have generally lost yourself, your identity, or sacrificed yourself, or tried too hard to make the other person happy, or perhaps to maintain peace. Mercury is still retrograde in your first house of Leo, so this energy also helps you to reclaim your voice. And ultimately, if you feel like someone is not aligned with your values, with your future goals, with the direction that you're heading, then you might decide that this is the end. So essentially, this full moon gives you this amazing opportunity to let go, release any codependency patterns, let go of any, or at least detach yourself from any inauthentic relationships, partnerships as well. And also with the seventh house influence activation by the full moon, here you also, any tendencies connected to the need to over explain yourself. Every time there is an issue, for example, here you have a chance also to work with these tendencies, let go of them, release them. All right, so thank you very much. Now, Virgos. Virgos, welcome. This full moon activates your sixth house, and the sixth house deals with our daily life, daily reality, our lifestyle as well, our health, any illnesses. So a full moon, of course, brings clarity, brings whatever isn't working to the surface, to light, giving us a chance to resolve this issue, dilemma, whatever it is. Now, this full moon, generally with the Aquarian energy of the full moon and the grand kite, you've got this amazing opportunity to break free from any unsustainable routines, goals, things that aren't really working, but perhaps you didn't have the energy motivation to deal with them, to approach them. So any unhealthy routines or habits, if you feel like you've been emotionally detached from your body, from your job, then perhaps this full moon will make you realize that something isn't working. Something needs to change. With Saturn being a part of the Grand Kite in your eighth house, here you've got this amazing opportunity for deep inner healing, especially around your self confidence, self worth. So, overall, this full moon might make you more aware of where you have overextended yourself recently in your everyday life, at your work, and you become more aware of your diet, of what you eat, of how productive you are on daily, regular, weekly basis. So if you've been neglecting yourself, your body, or perhaps anything else in this area of your chart, then this full moon will bring it to light, helping you to review this area of your life, helping you to reassess, reevaluate what's working, what isn't, and why it isn't, and let go of what isn't in alignment anymore. Thank you very much. Now, Libras, welcome. This full moon activates your fifth house. The fifth house deals with creativity, children, romance, creative self-expression, the inner child. So here we've got lots of creative energy and there's romance in the air as well, but this generally could be a moment of self-actualization, or perhaps you might have some really painful realizations, especially if you feel like you've been kind of holding yourself back from fully expressing yourself, from taking advantage of the situations, opportunities that emerged in the recent past. So here during this full moon, if you feel like there hasn't been enough fun in your life, or perhaps you're not true to yourself, then this full moon will make you more aware of these tendencies. When it comes to love and romance, with Saturn in the seventh house retrograde being a part of the Grand Kite, this energy is connected since this full moon is activating your area of romance. This is about building love on mutual respect. This full moon can be very empowering, especially for those who feel like they need constant validation in their romantic relationships. Here you have a chance to let go of these tendencies and to work on your self-worth, on your self-esteem. Saturn in the seventh house really, really highlights building a relationship that is generally built on a solid foundation, but also where mutual respect play a huge, huge role. At the same time, with the full moon in the fifth house here, it's a great time for healing of the inner child, especially if you fear visibility, if you have a fear of success. This could be a great time for facing that fear and releasing. All right, so thank you so much. Now, Scorpius, welcome. This full moon activates your fourth house. So the fourth house deals with the emotional side of your life, your roots, where you come from, home, family, inner security, and stability. So here, think about what happened in your life around 18 months ago, February 2024. What new beginnings did occur in your life, in your family life, in your home life? If you feel slightly misaligned in this area of your life, then during this full moon, you might detach emotionally and look at things from a rational perspective. And this could be really, really beneficial, especially since this full moon can help you observe and see things from a different light without becoming overwhelmed by the energies. Here, the grand kite during this full moon can help you understand and realize what safety and belonging truly mean to you on a deeper level, especially if you're healing any childhood wounds, early life experiences, situations, and so on. At the same time, here, this could be also a time of a culmination, especially in connection to any family related situation, matter, for example. For some Scorpios, this could be connected to a possible move, relocation in the upcoming future as well. Major news and decisions that you will be making also in the near future. Remember, Mercury is still retrograde at this time, so try to delay making any important decisions until after the 11th. All right, so thank you very much. Now, Sagittarius, welcome. Sagittarius, this full moon takes place in your third house. So here, the third house deals with our mindset, our rational mind, thinking processes, communication, movement as well, our siblings. So this relation could indicate some major news, thoughts, and decisions. Very often with the third house full moon, this is when we need to make an important decision, release something that perhaps was blocking our path. Remember, Mercury is still retrograde, so you might want to perhaps delay making this huge decision or important decisions a couple of days after this full moon is exact. But at the same time, here, this full moon could really overstimulate your mind. Movement, communication, social media interaction could be very much here the case. But at the same time, this full moon could bring some really interesting ideas when it comes to your future goals, future plans as well. You might change your mind about a specific idea, goal you've had for yourself. Mercury is retrograde, about to turn direct 2 days after this full moon. But at the same time, if you want to detach yourself from certain communities, groups, don't burn the bridges, because the goal here is clarity, not necessarily control. The full moon here, this could be also about completing a course of study connected to anything to do with the mind or life coaching, NLP, for instance, psychology, for instance, as well. Now, with the full moon here, you might be also completing or taking, even finalizing a driving license assignment course test. And we've got a lot of progressive futuristic energy overall here, but very often here with the full moon, this could be also about a greater interest to share, to teach, to share your knowledge, to share your wisdom, to teach, to work with the mind, to help others. Maybe your siblings will be prominent at this time in your life as well, needing your help, your support. This is about generally here, Aquarius full moon here wants you to feel courageous, wants you to speak with courage. If you struggle with a negative self-talk, for example, or if you have a tendency to overthink certain topics, situations in your life, then this full moon can also help you to work on your mindset, perhaps help you to work on your belief system, let go of beliefs that are just holding you back. So overall, with the full moon in the third house, we've got there's a lot of mental energy, mental stimulating energy as well, but also this amazing opportunity for clarity, for gaining clarity. All right, so thank you very much. Now, Capricorns, welcome. This full moon activates your second house. So here, the money area of the chart, self-worth, self-esteem, your personal values, your income. So during this time, you might experience this could be about some financial news, decisions that you'll be making around this time. This could be also when you might experience an emotional shift around what you actually value. It's a good full moon for decluttering, getting rid of possessions, resources that no longer serve any purpose. Now, at the same time, this could be about having to receive some news or having to make an important decision around your income, around your possessions. Perhaps you might actually also realize that you have outgrown your survival mindset. This is also about perhaps becoming more minimalistic, more focused on the future, what the future holds, rather than on the physical material world. Now, with the full moon and Aquarian energy, this is about identifying with more with what you know, with who you are based on your intellect, rather than on what you own, sort of physical objects. Changes to your income are possible. And if not now, then they are definitely on the horizon, because next year we've got two eclipses activating your financial houses. So if you are dissatisfied, I think many Capricorns might be at this point, then next year you'll have an opportunity for making major changes in these areas of your life. And there are some big shifts coming, opportunities for improvement in this regard. But in the meantime, this full moon and Mercury retrograde in Leo gives you this amazing opportunity to reinvent this area of your life, to change your relationship with money, to change perhaps if you feel like you need to perhaps manage your finances more effectively. Perhaps it could be about financial planning, budgeting. This is all about money, and it's a great time for dealing with money, for having conversations about money, about your income, about your future, financial security, stability. So thank you very much. And Aquarius, welcome. This full moon is a really important full moon for you because it activates your first house, the house of the self, of your identity, of your physical appearance, self-image as well. So here, next year, we'll start a brand new series of eclipses on Aquarius and Leo axis, and there's a new eclipse. There's a solar eclipse in February 2026. So in a few months, there's a major solar eclipse happening in your first house. So in the next 2 years, starting from 2026 until 2027, you will go through this major phase when you will be reinventing yourself and moving away from the old you and realigning with the person that you are becoming, so to speak. So this full moon could bring into light what's working in your life and what isn't. You gain the clarity you may have lacked in the recent past, but at the same time, think about what you started, what you initiated in February 2024. What did you start? What did you take off the ground? Because during this full moon could bring the much needed clarity, the needs to release, let go of what no longer serve you, but you might feel also emotionally out of sync. This means that you are slowly detaching from the old self and you're activating the new you, moving closer to the new you, especially since in February next year, you will have a solar eclipse in your first house in your sign. It doesn't happen often, it happens every 9 years, and every 19 years, here the nodes go back to the exact same position. But here, I think this full moon is in many ways a major preparation for what's about to show up in February next year. Now, the Grand Kite, on the other hand, gives you this amazing opportunity for a personal reinvention of yourself through your work, through relationships, through communication, of course, with all the air energy being activated. Saturn in Aries in your third house wants you to take responsibility for your words, for what you say, for what you're planning, for what you're building, for what you're aiming for. A really interesting full moon when you're slowly moving away from the old version of yourself, letting go of any tendencies connected to seeking approval, validation from others. A new you is emerging, and this is very, very exciting. So thank you very much. Now, Pisces, welcome. This full moon activates your 12th house, so a very private, healing, and spiritual full moon in many ways. A full moon in the 12th house can be very deep, profound. This is when you become more aware of any negative habits, addictions, routines that don't serve you or no longer serve you. So, this is a great time for letting go, maybe quitting smoking, or perhaps quitting eating unhealthily, or perhaps you become more aware of generally of what isn't working in your life, the private area of your life. Your dreams will likely be vivid. You might experience insomnia during this time. Overall, this full moon is a time for rest, for reflection, for contemplation, for spending time in nature, journaling, for being creative, for dancing, even for doing yoga, meditation. So something will be dissolving during this time on the subconscious level. You might not even realize yet what it is, but you're likely going through like an emotional detox. And of course, in September, you've got a lunar eclipse in your sign in Pisces. So this is full moon. It's fantastic for going through this emotional detox. For even cleansing yourself from any negative energies by spending time in nature. So here with this full moon in the 12th house, you're closing a chapter in your life. Something is dissolving. You're letting go of what no longer serves you. So it's like a cleansing time in many ways, especially with the approaching lunar eclipse in your sign. So spending time alone, withdrawing, it's okay. This way, you help yourself, you help your body to clear space for something new, something more in alignment to emerge, to begin. All right, so thank you very much, Pisces, and all the best.